Have you ever felt a presence so powerful and loving that it left you speechless? Imagine waking up one day and realizing that God has visited you. You ask yourself, how do I know if God visited me? The answer to this question could change your life forever. Today, we are going to reveal 10 miraculous signs that God has visited you. From the profound peace that fills your heart to the inexplicable events that defy logic, these divine moments are more than mere coincidences. Get ready for a spiritual journey that will open your eyes and bring you closer to the divine like never before. Stay tuned because what you are about to discover might be the message you have been waiting for. Recognizing the signs of a visitation from God is fundamental to our spiritual and daily lives. Throughout history, many people have shared testimonies of how a divine visitation has transformed their lives, bringing comfort, guidance and strength in times of uncertainty. When we are able to identify the signs of God's presence in our lives, our faith is strengthened. It is a tangible confirmation that we are not alone, that there is a superior force guiding and protecting us. This certainty gives us the confidence to face challenges and persevere in difficult times. Recognizing a visit from God allows us to deepen our relationship with the divine. We feel more connected and in tune with God's will, which inspires us to live according to His teachings and purposes. This deeper connection can bring inner peace, joy, and a renewed sense of purpose. Signs of God's presence often offer us guidance and direction in our lives. They can help us make important decisions, find our way when we are lost, and better understand our purpose in the world. This divine guidance is invaluable for navigating the complexities of life with wisdom and clarity. The experience of a visitation from God can be a catalyst for profound personal transformation. It prompts us to reevaluate our priorities, to let go of negative habits or thoughts, and to adopt a more positive and altruistic outlook. This transformation makes us more compassionate, loving and dedicated to the service of others. One of the first signs of a visit from God is the feeling of an overwhelming peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace is not simply the absence of problems, but an inner tranquility that envelopes you even in the midst of adversity. It is a peace that cannot be explained in words or understood by human logic. It is a direct manifestation of the divine presence in your life. Imagine being in a situation of great stress or conflict and suddenly you feel an inexplicable calm. You are in the midst of a whirlwind of problems, worries and fears, but you feel a peace that sustains you and gives you strength. This peace can come during prayer, meditation, or even in a moment of silence. It is as if a loving, protective hand is wrapped around you, assuring you that all will be well, not because external circumstances have changed, but because God's presence is with you, offering comfort and strength. Consider the words of the Apostle Paul in Philippians 4 verse 7, "And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus." This peace of God is a gift that allows us to remain calm and serene even when the world around us is in chaos. It is not a peace that can be acquired through human achievement or material possessions. It is a peace that can only come from a deep, personal connection with the divine. A real example of this peace is found in the life of Horatio Spafford, a 19th-century Christian businessman and lawyer. After losing his son and then his 4 daughters in a tragic accident at sea, Spafford wrote the hymn, "It is well with my soul." Despite her immense grief, she found a deep peace in her faith and in the presence of God, which enabled her to write words of hope and comfort in the midst of her suffering. This peace is also reflected in the lives of many contemporary people who, facing devastating medical diagnoses, personal loss, or financial crisis, find an inexplicable serenity. Stories of survivors of natural disasters, people who have lost everything in fires or floods, yet testify to an inner peace that enabled them not only to overcome adversity, but also to inspire others with their faith and resilience. Reflecting on this peace, we can understand that it is not simply a passing emotional state, but an ongoing manifestation of God's grace in our lives. It is a constant reminder that we are not alone, that there is a greater force that sustains and guides us. This peace invites us to trust fully in God, to let go of our fears and anxieties, and to rest in the certainty of His love and perfect plan for us. In a world full of uncertainty and conflict, this divine peace becomes an anchor, keeping us steady and secure. It enables us to face each day with courage and hope, knowing that no matter what comes our way, we are under the loving care of our Creator. It is a peace that transforms not only our circumstances, but also our perspective, giving us a clearer vision of our purpose and destiny in God's grand design. Another sign of a visitation from God is the occurrence of events that defy logic. These are times when things seem to happen too perfectly to be coincidence, such as a timely answer to prayer or a miraculous event. These unexplainable events remind us that there is a divine force at work, intervening in our lives in surprising and powerful ways. Think of a time when you desperately needed a solution and, out of nowhere, the exact answer you were looking for presents itself. You're at a crossroads, not knowing which way to turn, and suddenly, a stranger offers you just the information you need. Or maybe you're struggling with a financial problem, praying for relief, and without warning, you receive an unexpected check that covers your needs. These events are not mere coincidences, they are signs of divine intervention in our lives. The Bible is full of accounts of such miraculous events. One notable example is that of Peter, when he was in prison. In Acts 12 verses 6 to 11, we read how an angel of the Lord miraculously released him. Peter was chained between two soldiers, and suddenly, an angel appeared, woke him up, and the chains fell from his hands. The guards remained asleep while the angel led Peter out of the prison. This event defies all logic and is a clear example of divine intervention at a critical moment. In more recent times, many testimonies reflect these inexplicable events. One man shared how, during a time of personal and economic crisis, he received a call from a distant friend he had not seen in years. This friend, unaware of the man's situation, felt the need to call him and ended up offering him a job opportunity that solved his financial problems. These types of experiences not only challenge our understanding, but also fill us with awe and gratitude for the way God works in our lives. Consider also medical miracles, where patients with terminal diagnoses suddenly show unexplained recovery. Doctors may be perplexed, unable to offer a scientific explanation, but patients and their families see it as a sign of divine intervention. These inexplicable events remind us that while science and logic are powerful tools, there is a spiritual dimension beyond our comprehension that can work wonders in our lives. Reflecting on these events, we can see that they are not simply fortunate accidents, but manifestations of God's care and guidance. These miraculous moments invite us to open our hearts to the possibility of the divine, to recognize that we are not alone and that there is a loving and powerful presence that cares for us. They encourage us to trust God more fully, knowing that even in the darkest and most difficult moments, He is at work on our behalf, orchestrating events that guide us toward our highest good. In a world where we often seek rational explanations for everything, these unexplainable events challenge us to recognize God's hand in our lives. They call us to greater faith and gratitude, reminding us that while we may not always understand how or why things happen, we can trust that God is with us, guiding and protecting us every step of the way. These signs of His visitation are a powerful testimony to His love and power, inviting us to live with a renewed awareness of His presence in our lives. When God visits your life, one of the most revealing signs is a significant change in your desires and priorities. This transformation is not simply a passing adjustment in your interests, but a profound reorientation of what you value and pursue. Things you once considered essential may begin to fade in importance, replaced by a renewed focus on spiritual or altruistic aspects. Imagine that at some point in your life you were obsessed with material success and career goals. Your schedule was full of commitments to advance your career, and your conversations revolved around tangible accomplishments. However, after experiencing a deep connection with the divine, you find yourself losing interest in these ambitions. Instead, you feel compelled to devote time to the service of others, prayer, or the exploration of spiritual wisdom. This radical shift in your desires and priorities is a manifestation of your heart being aligned with divine purposes. Consider the transformation experienced by the Apostle Paul. Before his encounter with Christ on the road to Damascus, Paul was a fervent persecutor of Christians, obsessed with upholding Jewish law and the status it conferred. However, after his divine vision, his desires changed drastically. Instead of seeking recognition and power, he dedicated his life to preaching the gospel and serving others. In Philippians 3 verses 7-8, Paul says, "But how many things were gained to me, I counted loss for Christ's sake. And indeed, I still count all things loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Christ Jesus my Lord." This kind of change in desires is also reflected in contemporary testimonies. Think of someone who, after a profound spiritual experience, decides to leave a lucrative job in the corporate sector to become a volunteer in a charitable organization. Or someone who, previously focused on accumulating personal wealth, now devotes himself to mentoring at-risk youth or supporting social causes. These changes are not simple lifestyle adjustments, but a reconfiguration of what they consider valuable and meaningful. Reflecting on this sign, we can see that the change in desires is a powerful indication of God's presence in our lives. It is not just a change of interests, but a transformation of the heart that aligns our priorities with a higher purpose. It invites us to reevaluate our goals and question what really matters. This shift is a call to seek deeper meaning and to dedicate our lives to something that transcends temporary gratifications. This process can be challenging, as it involves giving up old aspirations and embracing new ways of finding purpose and fulfillment. However, it is in this transformation that we find a new source of joy and fulfillment. As we let go of the material and focus on the spiritual, we discover a richer and more satisfying connection with the divine, and our life becomes a genuine expression of our new values and desires. When God visits your life, it is common for you to experience signs and synchronicities that seem to defy logical explanation. These significant coincidences are not mere accidents, but manifestations of a divine intervention that communicates with you in subtle but powerful ways. They are like flashes of light that illuminate your path, guiding you and reminding you that there is a greater presence paying attention to every detail of your life. Imagine you are going through a time of uncertainty, seeking answers to an important decision. While you are in the midst of your reflections, you begin to notice a series of repeated numbers, such as 111 or 333, in unexpected places, on clocks, license plates, or even the date of an important event. Not only do these numbers appear frequently, but they seem to have a special relevance to your current situation. These number patterns act as divine signals, reminding you that you are being guided and supported. Another example might be receiving messages through dreams. Suppose you have been asking for guidance about a dilemma in your life, and one night you have a vivid dream that offers a clear solution or precise advice. This dream is not simply a manifestation of your subconscious thoughts, but a divine communication that provides you with the clarity you seek. Dreams can act as a window into the dialogue between your soul and the divine, offering answers that go beyond human logic. Biblical passages can also appear at key moments, resonating deeply with your current circumstances. Perhaps you are reading the Bible and suddenly find a verse that seems to speak directly to your situation. For example, if you're dealing with doubt and fear, you might stumble upon 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." This passage not only provides comfort, but also acts as a sign that God is aware of your struggles and is there to strengthen you. A famous case of synchronicity is found in the story of the famous scientist and theologian, Blaise Pascal, who, after a spiritual experience, began to see a recurring pattern in his life that he interpreted as confirmation of his faith. Pascal experienced a series of events that, to him, could not be coincidences, but signs of divine presence and guidance. In modern times, many people also report similar experiences. For example, someone may be looking for a sign to make an important decision, and just at the right moment, they receive a warning or advice through a chance conversation or a book that appears in the least expected place. These synchronicities act as small everyday miracles that invite you to recognize and trust God's presence in your life. Reflecting on these signs and synchronicities, we can see that they are more than just coincidences. They are indications of a deeper connection with the divine, a way for God to communicate with us and guide us along our spiritual journey. They remind us that we are not alone in our quests and decisions, and that there is a greater force at work in our lives, adjusting events and experiences to guide us toward our divine purpose. These experiences invite us to be attentive and open to the way God manifests in our daily lives. They teach us to recognize the divine hand in the ordinary and to appreciate the beauty of how the sacred intertwines with the everyday. In doing so, we not only discover God's constant presence, but also learn to trust that every sign and synchronicity has a purpose in the grand design of our lives. When God visits your life, one of the most profound and transforming signs is a renewal in your sense of purpose. This experience is not limited to a mere passing inspiration, but represents a profound reconfiguration of your goals and motivations. Suddenly, you find yourself with renewed clarity and determination, as if a veil has been lifted, revealing a path that seemed uncertain to you before. Imagine that for a long time you have been struggling with doubts about your direction in life. You feel lost, not knowing what your true calling is or how to find fulfillment and meaning in your daily endeavors. But then, after a profound spiritual experience, everything changes. You feel a surge of clarity that gives you a new perspective on your goals and purpose. The doubts that once plagued you begin to fade, replaced by a renewed determination to follow a path that you now see with a new sense of direction. An inspiring example of this kind of transformation is found in the life of Moses. Before his encounter with God at the burning bush, Moses lived as a fugitive in the land of Midian, far from Egypt and the people he had been called to lead. However, when God appeared to him and gave him the mission to deliver the Israelites, Moses experienced a complete renewal in his sense of purpose. Despite his doubts and fears, God's presence gave him a clear vision of his mission and the determination necessary to accomplish a monumental task. In Exodus 3 verse 10, God tells him, "Now therefore come, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." This call transformed Moses from a discouraged man into a determined leader, guided by a divine purpose. In contemporary times, we can see similar examples in people who have experienced a deep connection with the divine and, as a result, have found a renewed sense of purpose. Reflecting on this renewed sense of purpose, we understand that it is not simply a new goal or a change of interests. It is a profound reconfiguration of the heart and mind, a transformation that aligns our actions and desires with a greater purpose. This renewal can be both inspiring and comforting, as it provides us with a clarity that allows us to face challenges with confidence and determination. Renewed purpose invites us to live with a new perspective, where every action and decision is viewed through the lens of our divine calling. It reminds us that our life has a deeper meaning and that, despite difficulties, we are being guided toward a destiny that transcends our human limitations. By accepting and embracing this renewal, we align ourselves more closely with God's plan for our lives, and find a new source of strength and hope that propels us forward. One of the most profound manifestations of God's presence in your life can be healing, whether emotional, mental, or physical. This healing is not merely a temporary relief, but a complete transformation that touches the deepest fibers of your being. It can manifest as a release of past traumas, an unexplained recovery from illness, or a holistic restoration that goes beyond what medicine or psychology can offer. Imagine having carried for years a deep emotional wound, a sadness or pain that has marked your life in a significant way. You have sought solace in different places, but nothing seemed to bring you true peace. Suddenly, after an intense spiritual experience, you feel a surprising release. The anguish that was tormenting you dissolves, and you find a peace and closure that seemed unattainable before. This change not only relieves the pain, but allows you to see life with a new perspective, filled with hope and healing. A powerful example of emotional healing is found in the story of the woman with an issue of blood who, according to Mark's Gospel, touched Jesus' garment and was healed of an illness that had afflicted her for 12 years. In Mark 5 verse 34, Jesus says to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be free from your sickness." This story illustrates how God's presence and power can bring complete healing to seemingly insurmountable conditions, both physical and emotional. In terms of physical healing, we can see equally striking examples. Imagine suffering from a chronic ailment, a medical condition that has been a part of your life for years. You have tried various treatments without success, and hope for recovery seems to be fading. However, after fervent prayer and a deep connection with the divine, you experience a quick and complete recovery. Doctors find no explanation for the improvement, and you witness a healing that can only be attributed to divine intervention. A modern testimony of physical healing is that of a person who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. After receiving a grim diagnosis and after much prayer and pleading, he experienced a complete recovery. Medical tests revealed that the cancer had disappeared without scientific explanation. This recovery is seen by many as a miracle, a clear sign of divine healing that surpasses human understanding. Reflecting on emotional and physical healing, we can see that it is not just a relief of symptoms, but a complete restoration of the self. Divine healing does not only address superficial problems, but penetrates deep within our being, restoring balance and harmony in all areas of our life. It is a reminder that even in our weaknesses and suffering, there is a divine presence that can bring comfort, relief, and transformation. This healing experience invites us to open our hearts to the possibility of the extraordinary, to recognize that there is a greater power at work in our lives. It reminds us that true and complete healing is possible, and that God's presence can transform our lives in ways beyond what we can imagine. It gives us a new hope, a renewed faith in divine power, and a greater appreciation for the grace and love that surrounds us. When God manifests Himself in our lives, one of the most profound forms of communication can be through visions or prophetic dreams. These dreams and visions are not mere fragments of our imagination, but possess deep meaning and can offer guidance, warnings, or comfort. Often, they are vivid and memorable experiences that leave a lasting impression on our heart and mind. Imagine having a dream in which you find yourself facing a difficult situation and, in the midst of that dream, you find a clear and effective solution to the problem that has been troubling you for a long time. Upon awakening, the dream not only leaves you with a sense of peace and clarity, but also provides a practical and concrete direction for addressing the challenge. This type of dream is not only a reflection of your thoughts and concerns, but a way for God to offer you a solution that you may not have considered before. A prime example of prophetic dreams is found in the story of Joseph in the Old Testament. Joseph, the son of Jacob, had two dreams that foretold his future and the role he would play in the life of his family and in Egypt. In Genesis 37 verses 6 to 7, Joseph relates to his brothers, "Hear now this dream that I dreamed. Behold, we were binding bundles in the midst of the field, and behold, my bundle was lifted up and stood erect, and behold, your bundles were round about and bowed down to mine." These dreams, though initially not understood by his brothers, foretold his future role as leader and savior during a famine crisis. In contemporary times, many people have experienced visions and dreams that have provided guidance and comfort. For example, a person might have a dream that reveals a calling to a new professional or personal path. This dream not only inspires change, but also offers inner confirmation that they are on the right path, guided by a greater force. These dreams and visions are often so vivid and realistic that they feel like a tangible experience. The intensity and detail with which they are presented can leave an indelible mark on our memory, and the clarity with which they are presented can provide meaningful direction for our lives. The images and symbols that appear in these dreams are often interpretations that, when reflected upon and prayerfully sought, can reveal deeper messages. Reflecting on prophetic visions and dreams, we understand that they are powerful tools through which God offers us direction and perspective. They show us that there is ongoing communication between the divine and the human, and invite us to be attentive and receptive to these messages. They remind us that, even in our moments of uncertainty and confusion, there is divine guidance available to us, waiting to be discovered through introspection and prayer. These experiences also encourage us to keep an open mind and receptive heart, aware that divine communication can come to us in unexpected ways. By paying attention to our visions and dreams, and seeking divine wisdom to interpret them, we can receive valuable guidance that illuminates our path and strengthens our faith in God's purpose and direction for our lives. One of the revealing signs of a divine visit is the notable increase in your intuition. This increase in the ability to discern right from wrong and make wise decisions is not simply an improvement in perception, but a direct guide from the divine. When God manifests in your life, you may begin to experience an intuitive sharpness that helps you navigate clearly through the complexities of life. Imagine being faced with a crucial decision, a choice that could have a significant impact on your future. Previously, you might have doubted, pondered, and debated the decision for days or weeks. However, now, suddenly, you feel a clear and precise hunch that indicates the right path. This intuition is not just a simple feeling, but an internal guide that surprisingly aligns with truth and wisdom. By following this hunch, you realize that the decision turns out to be the right one, and the results confirm that your intuition was tuned and well-directed. A famous example of intuition guided by the divine can be found in the story of the prophet Daniel in the Old Testament. Daniel, known for his ability to interpret dreams and visions, demonstrated exceptional intuition and discernment that allowed him to offer wise counsel to the kings of Babylon. In Daniel 2 verses 19 to 22, it is recounted how God revealed to Daniel the content and interpretation of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, which not only saved his companions but also granted him a place of honor in the court. This divine revelation not only gave him a clear understanding of the dream but also evidenced an intuition deeply guided by the Spirit. In modern times, many people have experienced moments when a strong intuition led them to make correct decisions in situations that might have been uncertain. Perhaps you find yourself choosing between several job opportunities, and one of them resonates deeply with you, without apparent reason, but with an inner certainty that seems to transcend logic. By following that intuition, you realize that you have made the right decision, and that choice becomes a positive turning point in your life. This increase in intuition can also manifest in the ability to discern the intentions and motivations of others. Perhaps you find yourself in a conversation with someone and, suddenly, you have a clear perception of their true feelings or intentions. This ability to read between the lines and understand the hearts of people can be a divine gift that protects and guides you in your interactions and relationships. Reflecting on the increase in intuition, we understand that this ability is not only a blessing for making wise decisions but also a sign of God's continued guidance in our lives. It reminds us that, through intuition, God can communicate with us in an intimate and personal way, offering direction and protection in times of uncertainty. This type of divine intuition invites us to trust our inner senses and be open to spiritual guidance. It encourages us to recognize that, even when answers are not evident or logical, we can find guidance and clarity in a deeper connection with the divine. As we develop and trust this intuition, we discover a form of guidance that not only directs us in decision-making but also strengthens our relationship with God and helps us walk with greater confidence in the purpose He has for our lives. One of the most beautiful and comforting signs of a divine visit is the experience of feeling a loving presence that deeply and tangibly envelopes you. This sensation is like a cloak of love and protection surrounding you, making you feel completely safe, valued, and cherished. It is not just a fleeting feeling but a spiritual experience that can transform your perception of reality and strengthen your faith in the constant presence of God in your life. Imagine being in a moment of prayer or meditation, and suddenly, you feel as if an invisible yet warm presence is wrapping around you. It is as if someone is gently hugging you, conveying a peace and love that go beyond words. This spiritual embrace not only provides comfort in times of distress or uncertainty but also reminds you that you are unconditionally loved by God, regardless of the circumstances in your life. A moving example of this experience can be found in the life of Saint Teresa of Avila, a 16th-century mystic and Carmelite. During her moments of prayer, Saint Teresa described experiences where she felt a divine presence so palpable that it was as if a spiritual hug enveloped her, giving her a deep sense of love and closeness with God. These experiences strengthened her faith and devotion, leading her to write about the depth of the divine love she felt. In everyday life, many people have experienced this loving presence in critical moments. For example, someone going through a serious illness may feel, during prayer or in moments of deep meditation, a loving presence that provides an inexplicable peace and a sense of not being alone in their suffering. This feeling can be so intense that it transforms their experience of pain into an opportunity to feel the closeness and comfort of God. This loving presence can also manifest in times of emotional need. Perhaps you are facing a loss or a personal crisis, and amidst your pain, you experience a profound warmth and love that seems to come from a place beyond yourself. This love reminds you that, even in your darkest moments, there is a divine light guiding and sustaining you. Reflecting on this experience of feeling a loving presence, we understand that it is a tangible manifestation of God's infinite love. It is a powerful reminder that we are not alone in our struggles, and that, regardless of our circumstances, we are always wrapped in the Creator's unconditional love. This loving presence invites us to open our hearts and accept the divine love that is constantly available to us. It encourages us to trust in God's goodness and protection, and to find comfort in the certainty that His love is a constant in our lives, even when we face challenges. As we experience this deep love, our faith is strengthened and our relationship with God deepens, giving us a peace and security that transform the way we live and relate to the world. Finally, one of the deepest and most revealing signs of a divine visit is the complete transformation of your life. This transformation is not limited to a superficial change in your habits and behaviors. It is a comprehensive metamorphosis that affects how you see the world and understand yourself. When God enters your life, He can initiate a process of renewal that redefines your existence in a significant and lasting way. Imagine that you have been stuck in destructive behavior patterns and negative thoughts that seem to be an intrinsic part of your identity. However, after experiencing a divine visit, you find that these old habits and perspectives start to crumble. Suddenly, you feel driven to adopt a new way of living, one that is filled with hope, love, and faith. This change is not just a temporary adjustment, but a profound transformation that affects every aspect of your life. Consider the story of Saul of Tarsus, who experienced a dramatic transformation after his encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus. Saul, a fervent persecutor of Christians, became the Apostle Paul, one of the most passionate defenders of Christianity. This encounter with the divine not only changed his name but also transformed his mission, character, and life completely. Saul's experience is a powerful example of how a divine visit can lead to a radical transformation that impacts not only the individual but also the community at large. In everyday life, many people have experienced similar transformations. You might find yourself leaving behind old fears and resentments, adopting a more positive and constructive perspective. Perhaps you once focused on material wealth and personal success, but after a significant spiritual experience, you find yourself focused on serving others, seeking purpose, and connecting with God. This change in your life not only benefits you but also inspires those around you, showing the tangible impact of the divine presence. Reflecting on this transformation, we understand that a divine visit brings not just superficial changes but a total reconfiguration of our inner and outer life. It invites us to recognize that we are in constant evolution and that the presence of God can guide us to a new level of existence, filled with purpose, gratitude, and love. This transformation helps us understand that our lives have a deeper meaning and that, through our relationship with the divine, we can contribute significantly to the greater good. As we experience this transformation, our view of the world and of ourselves becomes clearer, and our purpose becomes more defined. This change not only improves our quality of life but also serves as a testament to the power of God to renew and revitalize even the most deeply rooted aspects of our existence. Divine transformation is a reminder that there is always room for growth and change, and that God's love and grace have the power to transform our lives in amazing and inspiring ways. Understanding these signs can not only transform your spiritual journey, but also bring you closer to the divine and help you navigate life with a renewed sense of purpose. By being attentive to these signs, we can discover God's constant presence in our daily lives, bringing comfort and hope in times of difficulty. As you reflect on these signs, you may also find a new direction for your life. God's visits often come with important messages or lessons that can change your perspective and give you the strength to overcome any obstacle. Finally, recognizing and sharing these experiences with others can create a community of faith and support, where we encourage each other to stand firm in our spirituality and to always seek God's guidance in our lives. And if you are one of those who believe in birthmarks, you should see this message. You don't want to miss the chance to find out if you are one of God's chosen. Remember to subscribe and share the video so you don't miss out on wonderful reflections like these.